And we are back on the live stream. How is it going, folks? Are you enjoying the sessions? Have you stopped by the expo hall? Have you seen any cool technology? That's one of the things I'm getting from all the guests we're having here. It seems each one is highlighted a particular vendor in that expo hall that has really grabbed their eye, all for different reasons. The other thing I'm hearing is the tech on display this year, for whatever reason, I think it's just because the whole space is in transition, for lack of a better word, has never been more exciting or innovative than before. So if you get a chance, drop by the expo hall. Oh, and guess what? When you do that, you walk right past us. So don't be shy. Stop, drop in, check out the gear we're using to do this show, see anything you want to see. Maybe you want to. I always find it's fun to make faces at our guests to see if you can throw them off their game. So that's just me. I'm a little bizarre that way, but I keep on bringing you smart people. We have another one. This is Melanie Turek from Frost & Sullivan.
Yeah.
I have been talking all day, Melanie. I cannot talk anymore. I am tripping over my own words. I apologize. How are you doing?
I am doing great. It's been great to be here at the show.
Has your show been as crazy as our show's been?
It's insane. I mean, it's back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
And everything I'm seeing is really interesting, and it's hard to stay on top of it all.
And you were just on a session, were you not?
I was. I just did a session with a panel, and we were looking at the impact of analytics on the customer journey and the customer experience.
Wow. Okay, between you and I, no one's listening. How'd the panel go?
You know, I thought it went great. Actually, they were not shy at all, which is what I like in a panel, right? Where they're interrupting each other.
They just put it out there and cutting each other off.
I don't agree with that at all.
You're stupid.
Well, it didn't get quite that bad, but definitely no one afraid to share their opinions, which is, really great, especially in that area because it's relatively new. There's a lot going on, kind of different ways of approaching it. So really interesting stuff.
And it's wild, right? So, from the video production side, we get engaged often, shall we say, by the marketing department, right? So we're really used to hearing this term customer journey because, that's kind of where it began, right? Where is your customer and how are they in the journey? But hearing that same term here in this space, it tells you how we are so customer-centric and focused now, how it dramatically has shifted.
Yeah.
So I got to ask you the question, how are new systems helping enterprises understand that customer journey?
Yeah, so the most important thing that we're seeing really as a trend in that is analytics, right? So everybody's heard of big data and analytics, right?
Yes.
But when you apply that to the contact center, now you're taking that information, analyzing it really to look at how you can improve that overall customer experience. And that can mean a lot of different things depending on what you're talking about. So, if you have a customer who's trying to get something done through self-service on the web, and maybe he can't get the information he needs. So how are you recognizing that? Seeing that that's a problem, or proactively kind of expecting that to be a problem based on what he's looking for, what he's doing online, and then kind of transition him to a place where he can get the help he needs right away. Because the biggest issue we find right now with customers is that they can leave so easily today, right? I mean, if you're shopping online, it's one click away to go to the competition, see what's going on over there.
It's really easy.
It's really easy.
Yes.
And the other thing is that customers actually do expect companies to know a lot about them.
Yes.
We talk sometimes about privacy concerns and things like that. Customers don't care.
That's changed.
That's really changed. They really want you to be addressing them on a personal, really customized basis, and the only way you can do that is if you know who they are, and that's based on understanding all the data that you have in your organization.
All right, so to your point then, customer journey analytics are critical, but it's also somewhat new.
Yeah.
So what's the business case? I mean, I understand what you're saying, but if I have to make that business case to management, what is that business case?
It's really interesting, and this came up in the session too, because traditionally, contact center business case was all about saving money, right? The contact center has always been essentially a cost center, right? Well, we have to serve our customers.
That's right.
How can we do that, in the cheapest, quickest way, right? But now, what we're finding is the companies that really get this, the business case is actually about how can I turn a problem into an opportunity. So essentially looking at my contact center, and that's a term that is being defined loosely these days because it includes all different kinds of channels, not just a bunch of agents sitting in a room. But how can I turn that contact center into a revenue center? And so that really changes the equation, right? Because now you're investing in technology, not because you have to, but because you want to, because you expect it to be able to increase revenues for the organization.
All right, so now if I come maybe step back a little bit, because I know the customer journey analytics is newish, and it's a emerging trend.
Absolutely.
As I look at the overall space, are there other trends you're seeing now come to the fore?
Yeah, for sure, and they all kind of interact, which is, I think, always the theme of Enterprise Connect, right? Is everything's connected at the end of the day, but the other really big trend we're seeing is this idea of an omni-channel. Or a multi-channel contact center, right? Where, if you think about, how do you interact companies that you're doing business with regularly? Well, it's probably a whole variety of ways. Sometimes you pick up the phone and call, sometimes you're going to a website, sometimes you're in a mobile app, sometimes you're just really mad and you tweet.
Yeah.
What happened with, hey, at Acme Corps, what did you do? You totally messed up.
You only get a response if you tweet.
Right?
It's public.
Right, we've all been conditioned to see
Yes.
that. And so from a contact center point of view, you've got to figure out, okay, how do I take all of those channels and put some discipline around them,
Right.
and use the information that I'm getting from all of them, make sure though that I'm applying the same policies and analytics and metrics to all of that data. And by the way, I've got to kind of figure out how to get rid of the noise, because not every interaction is important.
Right.
So making sure I'm really focusing on what matters to that customer, to my overall brand, image, etc., and being able to jump on that really quickly and then take all of that information and leverage it throughout the organization. So it's a big task. It's very daunting. I think we'll be talking about this for Enterprise Connect's
Many years to come.
Yeah. But it's really fun, because it's fun being kind of involved at the beginning and seeing where things are really going to go.
Well, that's one of the questions I was going to ask you. You say being involved at the beginning. Are you finding that you and, shall we say, some best-in-class accounts are leading that transformation? Or are you seeing it being pulled through by the masses out of an understood and recognized need?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think what's happening is that some of the really best companies at this have conditioned consumers to expect this kind of treatment going forward. So, one of the things I always talk to my clients about is your competition is no longer the companies that are in the same industry or market or region as you. That was 10 years ago. But now your competition is actually the last excellent customer experience that your customer had. Could be an entirely different business, something you're not familiar with, have no particular interest in, right? But if they got an experience that was based on a personal, really interactive, very authentic experience, then they're going to want that from you. And so you basically have to go around and look at who's best in class, not in a particular industry, but in customer service.
And what's interesting too, right, is because that experience really equates to the brand, and then people don't mind paying a premium for a brand.
That's right.
Because they know they're going to get that experience.
That's right.
Right?
That's
so
right.
it's got a, you talk about business cases, there's an obvious, simple business case right there.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
You're Melanie Turek. You are with Frost & Sullivan. If anybody wanted to get a hold of you or learn more about you or your area of practice, is there a website or anywhere else they can go? Can they follow you on Twitter? Tell me how to follow you.
Absolutely. So they can go to frost.com. That's our website for the company. They can follow me at Melanie Turek on Twitter, or they can email me if they want to go old school, and that's just melanie.turek@frost.com.
Fantastic. All right, folks. So that's Melanie Turek, Frost & Sullivan. She is on her game to talk about customer journey and the analytics. There's more at frost.com. In the meantime, stay tuned for our next guest. We're done.